W0TX repeater.
QSD from the Denver Radio Club. Welcome to the Denver Radio Club Net, being held on repeater W0TX. This is a meeting held on the air every Sunday evening at about 8:30 p.m. Good evening. My name is Jim. My call sign is Kilo Zero Tango Oscar Romeo. I'll be your net control station transmitting from Littleton, Colorado. If there's any emergency or priority traffic during this net, say break at any pause, and the net will be suspended until the emergency or priority traffic is completed. This net is for Denver Radio Club members and all interested radio amateurs. We're here to share information concerning any ham-related activities. Regular meetings of the Denver Radio Club are held on the third Wednesday of every month at 7 p.m. And with the COVID-19 restrictions, we hold virtual meetings. We use Google. And if you would like to attend those meetings, they're certainly open to any hams, anyone. You can go to our website, and we'll list the access address on the website, or if you're on our mail list, you'll get that on an email. Our next meeting is going to be on November the 18th, and our session is held at 6 p.m. just prior to our monthly meeting, and this session addresses any amateur radio questions that you might have. So whether you're new amateur radio or interested in some new application of amateur radio, this is a session where you can get help. Also, every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m., except the third Wednesday when a monthly meeting is held, there's a learning net held on 145.490 megahertz and 448.625 megahertz. This is another area where you can find answers for your amateur radio-related questions. As a general interest club, we provide emergency communication for the Salvation Army, City of Wheat Ridge Police Department, City of Lakewood Police Department, West Metro Fire District, and St. Anthony's West Hospital. We're always looking for members who would like to participate in this support. Please contact our club president if you'd like to help. Our current president is Jerry Vilhauer, W0GV. Jerry's telephone number is 303-467-0223. The Denver Radio Club website address is www.w0tx.org. Again, Jerry's telephone number is 303-467-0223. The Denver Radio Club also participates in the ARRL Volunteer Examiner Program. But again, with the COVID limitations, we have to have a facility we're capable of spreading all the people that are interested in taking exams out. So we don't have our test meetings that often. We'll publish those on the website, on the club website, www.w0tx.org, or we also pass that information on here on this net. If you do have questions regarding testing, you can contact our PE team lead, Tom Koshalski, KC2CHE, at 720-284-1911. This is the Denver Radio Club Net, W0TX, and this is K0TR serving as net control. Are there any special announcements or bulletins for the net this evening? If so, please call now. regular check-ins, I'd like to welcome and invite any visiting radio amateurs to check into the Denver Radio Club net this evening. During this net, we disable the requirement for the 100 Hz PL repeater access tone, so you can use either 145.490 megahertz with a minus 600 kilohertz offset, or 448.625 megahertz with a minus 5 megahertz offset. Are they visiting radio amateurs who'd like to check into the Denver Radio Club net tonight? If so, please call out. Next, I'd like to welcome and invite any newly licensed or recently upgraded radio amateurs to check in. Please call now. I'll now take regular check-ins in groups, and please let me know if you have traffic when you check in, and I'll get back to you. First, radio amateurs whose call suffixes begin letters A through E, Alpha through Echo, please call out.
Kilo 0 Delta Papa Romeo, Paul and Aurora.
November 0 Delta Bravo Sierra, Dawn in Denver, no traffic.
November 5 Charlie Mike Kilo Greg in Denver, no traffic.
Kilo Foxtrot 0 Alpha Foxtrot Quebec, Troy in Denver.
Kilo Foxtrot 0 Bravo Alpha Kilo David Lakewood, no traffic.
KB0CHT Jeff in Lakewood, no traffic. Net Control, I'd like to acknowledge and welcome the following check-ins. K0 DPR Paul, N0 DPS Don, N5 CMK Greg, KF0 AFQ Troy, KF0 BAK David, and KB0CHT Jeff. Make one more call for radio amateurs whose call suffixes begin letters A through E, Alpha through Echo. Please call now.
KA5 DKS Ken in Arvada.
Alpha Fox 0 Echo, Alex Bromfield.
N0 EYZ Jim Littleton. W0TX Repeater.
Net Control, I'd like to acknowledge and welcome the following check-ins. KA5 DKS Ken, AF0E Alex, and N0EYZ Jim. Move on down to alphabet, and radio amateurs whose call suffixes begin letters F through J, Foxtrot through Juliet. Please call now.
W0GV Jerry Westminster. N0 GWM Leon in Lakewood.
K7IRC Highlands Ranch, Bill. Alpha 0 Juliet Kilo, AA 0 JK, Fred in Arvada, good evening, no traffic.
KC0 JAV Frank in Denver.
Kilo 6 Hotel Juliet Victor, K6HJV, Tom Arvada, no traffic.
Whiskey 0 India Bravo Alpha, Eric in Hudson, no traffic.
At control, I'd like to acknowledge and welcome the following check-ins. W0GV Jerry, N0GWM Leon, K7IRC Bill, AA0JK Fred, KC0JAV Frank, K6HJV Tom, and W0IBA Eric. Make one more call for radio amateurs whose call suffixes begin letters F through J, Foxtrot through Juliet. Please call now.
November 0 Golf Tango Golf Kurt in Denver.
At control, I'd like to acknowledge and welcome the following check-in. N0GTG Kurt. Move on down the alphabet, and radio amateurs whose call suffixes begin letters K through O, Kilo through Oscar. Please call now.
Kilo 0 Lima Papa Romeo Lanier in Inglewood.
Whiskey 0 Lima Foxtrot Orland and Golden. No traffic. Over.
Kilo Echo 0 Oscar Sierra India Tom Highlands Ranch, no traffic. Kilo Papa Sierra Kevin Lakewood, no traffic.
Kilo 0 Lima Alpha India K0 LEI Larry in Lakewood.
WG0N Dave in Lakewood.
At control, I'd like to acknowledge and welcome the following check-ins. K0LPR Lanier, WW0LF Orland, KE0OSI Tom, K0KPS Kevin, K0LAI Larry, and WG0N Dave. Make one more call for radio amateurs whose call suffixes begin letters K through O, Kilo through Oscar. Please call now.
Kilo Echo 0 November Romeo Echo Jim in Littleton with traffic.
At control, I'd like to acknowledge and welcome following check-in. KE0NRE Jim with traffic. Move on down the alphabet. Radio amateurs whose call suffixes begin letters P through T, Papa through Tango. I'm sorry, jumping ahead here too far. Back up. Call suffixes begin letters. No, I'm not jumping ahead. My mistake. Call suffixes begin letters P through T, Papa through Tango. Please call now.
Bravo 2, Sierra Hotel Romeo. Stan in Denver, no traffic.
KE0, RVZ, Kilo Echo 0, Romeo Victor Zulu John. In Lakewood, no traffic.
November 0, Tango, Oscar, Echo, Harsh, Lakewood.
Kilo Bravo 9er, Quebec Delta Golf, KB 9er, QDG, Carl, Lakewood, no traffic.
Net Control, like to acknowledge and welcome the following check-ins. WB2SHR Stan, KE0RVZ John, N0TOE Richard, KB9er QDG Carl. Move on down to second call for radio amateurs whose call suffixes beginning with the letters P through T, Papa through Tango. Please call out.
November 0, Tango, Romeo, Papa, Jim in Lakewood. Good evening.
Net Control, like to acknowledge and welcome the following check-in. N0TRP Jim. Move on down alphabet, and radio amateurs whose call suffixes begin letters U through Z, uniform through Zulu. Please call out.
KF0UZ, Marshall in Glendale.
W0TX Repeater.
Kilo 0, Whiskey Echo Tango, Brad in Denver.
Kilo 0, Yankee Echo Sierra, Ken in Broomfield.
Kilo Echo 0, Victor Charlie Whiskey, John in Denver.
Net Control, like to acknowledge and welcome the following check-ins. KF0UV Marshall, K0WET Brad, K0YES Ken, and KE0VCW John. Take one more call for radio amateurs whose call suffixes begin letters U through Z, uniform through Zulu. Please call out. All right, we'll open up the entire alphabet. Radio amateurs whose call suffixes begin letters A through Z, Alpha through Zulu. Please call out. There'll be a chance for late check-ins a little later in the net. And next Next, I'd like to invite our club president, Jerry Billhauer, W0GB, cover club business. Go ahead, Jerry, the net is yours.
Okay, Jim, well, thanks for doing the net. Welcome, everybody. Like we got a pretty good turnout tonight. Wednesday coming up is our meeting night, and we'll have our 9th or 10th, I guess, virtual meeting. So make sure you don't miss that. If you haven't looked at the website or the our webpage, we're going to have a gentleman named Matt Webb. He's the Western U.S. coordinator for Motus Wildlife Tracking System. So they, and I guess he builds these systems that they use to track birds in particular. And so this will be kind of a different, interesting program, another application of radio, although not ham radio, it's radio. So anyway, Wednesday evening, make sure you don't miss it. We all seem to have plenty of time nowadays, so to be at home. So anyway, look forward to seeing a lot of you Wednesday evening. I don't have anything else to pass along other than that I can think of. I think everything's working as far as I know, system-wise. So back to you, Jim. 7-3, everybody. W0GV.
All right. Thanks much, Jerry. We appreciate it. And let's see, K0NRE. Jim, you had traffic. Go ahead, and that's yours.
KE0NRE, thank you. Thank you for taking the net tonight. I just had a question for those who were on the net. 3 evenings ago, the ARRL conducted their twice-a-year frequency measurement test, and I wondered if any of the club members or anybody else who's listening in tonight has taken that challenge up and done that themselves, and what advice or interest there is in doing that sort of thing in the future. So with that, I'll pass it back to net, KE0NRE.
All right, Jim's looking to see if anybody's worked or participate in the frequency measuring test that ARRL sets up. Anyone on that participate? Well, Jim, doesn't look like I can get any response, so I guess not. If you did, you might share your experience with us.
Well, I did. I just found out about it at the last minute, so I was relatively unprepared to do anything about it. But I tried to previously calibrate my transceiver against the WWV signals as best I could by hand, and then try to guesstimate whatever frequency ARRL was transmitting on that evening. They did something in the CW portion of the 80 and the 40 meter bands. And I came up with rough approximations, but when I went back and checked some of my calibration numbers, they had changed from day to day. So I don't know that I can put any faith in any of the measurements that I took. But I thought it was interesting just to learn more about the process of going through and trying to calibrate your VFO against a very precise standard like WWV signals, and to see the difficulties that arise when you try to do that, at least here at my QTH. So with that, I'll pass it back to Ned, and just say that I had a good time looking into what it takes to meet that challenge. KE0NRE, back to Ned.
Well, thanks for that, Jim. Appreciate it. Yeah, I've seen that, and many years ago I was involved in calibration of equipment, so I'm very familiar with calibrating from Bureau standards. And I thought about that. I guess it would help if one had a crystal oven in their rig. I don't. But that would certainly help, where you could go off and zero beat in with WWV and see from that attempt to see how successful you might be. I know they get down to the nibbins on that, so it'll be interesting to see. I think you probably would get a readout back as far as what frequency they were transmitting on, and see what you came up with, and see what kind of an error you had. So that would be interesting. It is a challenge, I'll say that. But very good. Well, appreciate you sharing that with us. Might get some interest in some of us here that try that in the future. So thanks much. This K0TR. I don't have anyone else that indicated they had traffic. And this is the Denver Radio Club Net, W0TX, and this is K0TR Net Control Station. Does anyone have any other comments, information, or business for the net? If so, please call now. All right, do we have any late check-ins? Please call now.
KE0 Yankee Kilo Victor, Bill in Lakewood.
K0AJB Mobile, I think in Aurora someplace.
W0TX Repeater.
And Net Control, I'd like to acknowledge and welcome the following check-ins. KE0YKV Bill, and K0AJB Mobile. Could I get a name, please?
Yeah, the name here is Kevin. Kilo Echo Victor India November. I'm sitting in my daughter's driveway. Not sure where she lives, but that's where I'm at here. I'm from Minnesota. K0AJB.
Oh, very good, Kevin. Thanks for checking in. Welcome to Colorado, and hope you enjoy your stay here. Appreciate you checking in. All right, make one more call. Any other late check-ins, please call now. All right, I'll now review next weekend's contests. We don't have any upcoming Hamfest, so that one's easy to complete. And let's see what we got coming up here this coming weekend. Let's see. We have the LZDX contest. It begins on November the 21st at 1200 hours Zulu, goes through November 22nd until 1200 hours Zulu. That's on 80 through 10 meters, and that's a CW and phone contest. We have the All-Austrian 160-meter contest. Begins on November 21st at 1600 hours Zulu, goes through November 21st until 23:59 hours Zulu. That is on 160 meters. That is a CW contest. And we have the Feldheld Sprint. Begins on November 21st at 1900 hours Zulu, goes through November 21st until 20:59 hours Zulu. That's on 160 through 6 meters. That's a digital contest. We also have the REF 160-meter contest. That begins on November 21st at 1700 hours Zulu, goes through November 22nd till 0100 hours Zulu. That's on 160 meters. That is a CW contest. And we have the RSGB 1.8 megahertz contest begins on November 21st at 1900 hours Zulu, goes through November 21st until 2300 hours Zulu. That is on 160 meters, and that is also a CW contest. And next we have the ARRL November Sweepstakes. Begins on November 21st at 2100 hours Zulu, goes through November 23rd until 0300 hours Zulu. That's on 160 through 10 meters, and that is a phone contest. A couple other reminders. We have the High Noon Net. They meet daily at 12 noon, where early check-ins begin at 11:30. They meet on a frequency of 7.240 megahertz on the 40-meter band. And also the Salvation Army Saturnet. They meet at 1500 hours Zulu, and that's 8 a.m. now on Mountain Standard Time. And they meet Monday through Saturday on a frequency of 14.265 megahertz, which is on the 20-meter band. The Denver Radio Club maintains the following repeaters for use by all radio amateurs. 147.33 megahertz with a positive offset, 145.490 megahertz with a negative offset, 224.380 megahertz with a negative offset, the 449.350 megahertz with a negative offset, 448.625 megahertz with a negative offset, the 447.825 megahertz with a negative offset. Our digital turbo repeater operating on Brandmeister on 446.7875 megahertz with a negative offset, and our C4 FM digital repeater on 449.775 megahertz with a negative offset. The 447.825 megahertz repeater is configured for narrowband FM, and that requires a digital coded squelch of 073. There are two repeaters on 147.330 megahertz. The repeater in Lakewood requires a 100 hertz field tone. Second repeater located east near Franktown requires a 131.8 hertz field tone. We have a second repeater on the same frequency out east to improve coverage along the front range and into the canyons. However, having two repeaters on the same frequency requires that you monitor the frequency because they have different propagations, and this will help assure neither is in use prior to you making your call. The 449.350 megahertz repeater provides wide area coverage, and this repeater hosts our Ecolink station, W0TX node number 4140. And the 448.625 megahertz repeater is linked with the 145.490 megahertz repeater. The repeater on 449.775 is now a C4 FM digital only repeater. Each repeater requires a 100 hertz field tone for activation except as noted, and each uses standard offsets. And for packet, we have the 145.050 megahertz gateway on 2 meters that is interconnected with the 14.105 megahertz gateway on 20 meters for packet QSO. And we have a 6-meter repeater on 53.09 megahertz with an input on 52.09 megahertz with a required 107.2 hertz PL tone. Your support of the Denver Radio Club is greatly appreciated. If you'd like to participate in any of the many club activities, please contact our club president, Jerry Billhoward, W0GV. I'd like to thank everyone for checking into the Denver Radio Club net tonight. Your support is greatly appreciated. I hope you all have a great week. 7-3. Tonight we had a total of 36 check-ins, and the Denver Radio Club W0TX net is now closed at 9:04, and repeaters available for regular use. This is K0 to your net control station, and please stand by a moment while I return the PL tone to the repeater.
On.
And it's K0TR, and I am clear.